Hey everybody, I'm Dave from road.cc and this is the new E765 Gravel from French brand Look. One of the new breed of e-gravel bikes. They get everywhere these days, don't they, e-bikes? Gravel, that's just the next frontier for them. And to be honest, sister gravel bikes have got quite a lot going for them. I mean, gravel bikes have got to be capable enough to cope with some technical terrain, but they've also got to be nimble and light enough that they're fun on the road too. Now, add in a motor, you're getting a helping hand out into the wilderness. Who doesn't want that, eh? Now, Look has lent us this E765 and a SRAM Force build for a go, and I've been out over the last few days hitting the local back roads and trails, and as you can probably see from the state of it, it's been quite a lot of fun. So the E765 shares a lot of its DNA with Look's 765 RS gravel bike. Without a motor, you're getting a carbon frame. It's got a bit of comfort optimization going on. So at the back, Look uses this system here that they call 3D wave. It's a sort of double wave profile that Look claims makes the back of the bike 15% more vertically compliant without losing any side-to-side stiffness. As we all know, the search for vertical compliance, whilst at the same time maintaining lateral stiffness, appears to occupy most of any bike designer's waking hours, so everyone loves a percentage too, so that's a couple of boxes ticked there. In between those seat stays, there's room for quite a decent sized tyre in here. So this bike has come fitted with WTB Riddler 37mm tyres on 700C Mavic all-road disc wheels. But if you want a bit more bounce, you can swap out to a 650B wheel and a bigger tyre. So the bike will take up to a 54mm tyre on the smaller 650B rims. As it stands, the bike's pretty well balanced between tarmac and dirt, to be honest. I mean, these WTB tyres, you know, they're normally enough to cope with some reasonably technical terrain, but they're not so aggressive in the middle section that they feel really draggy on the road bits. I mean, you know, you wouldn't want to throw the Look down a red trail at your local bike park or anything, but for general mucking about on bridleways and fire roads and single track with the odd kind of rocky bit thrown in and some road bits to link everything up, you know, it's pitched just about right, really. The position again is good for a range of stuff. So the bike's quite tall at the front here. You're not going to get super aerial on it on the road, but if you get down in the drops, it still feels pretty purposeful at speed. When you're on the dirt, the head angle here is relaxed enough to make it fairly predictable through rocky sections. I mean, it's still quick compared to a mountain bike, but it does work. And the short chainstays at the back here, so it's full 20mm chainstays, they make it nimble enough for some pretty narrow technical stuff too. Let's talk about the motor system. So Look uses the Fazua Evation motor system with this bike, like it does with the road going equivalent. Now, Fazua has nabbed quite a lot of market share for bikes like this that are designed to be light enough to ride without power. So this E765 Gravel tips the scales at about 15 kilos, which is, you know, it's good for a Fazua powered bike, especially one that's got bigger tyres. That means, yeah, it's pretty portable if you need to chuck it over a stile or haul it up a flight of steps, or, you know, manhandle it onto a car rack or something like that. The low overall bike weight is helped by the carbon frame, obviously, and the SRAM Force single ring group set we've got here. The Fazua system itself weighs in at just about 4.5 kilos with a 250 watt-hour battery. There are lighter systems out there. The e-bike motion X35 system that you'll see in bikes like the All-Bear Gain, that's just 3.5 kilos. But this is the lightest mid motor that's widely used right now. But the gap is not what it used to be. So if you missed the news earlier this month, Bosch has managed to shave 1 kilo off the way of its performance line CX motor from just under 4 to 2.9 kilos. It's more of a lop than a shave really. So a full Bosch system, it's about bang on 6 kilos now, and that's with a 500 watt-hour battery. That's twice the capacity of this one. Now, Bosch doesn't make a lower capacity internal battery to compete with Fazua in this particular market, but when they do, and they will, that weight gap will shrink to about half a kilo. And that new Bosch motor is a lot more powerful than this system. That's not to say the Fazua motor isn't good though, because it is. You get 3 levels of assistance from the bar-mounted remote here. There's plenty of power to get you up some pretty demanding technical bits without too much effort. On the flip side, in the least powerful mode, green mode, you'll get plenty of range. I mean, on road bikes that have had this system fitted, like the Pinarello Nitro that I've ridden, you know, I've done 100k rides on one charge. On a gravel bike, you're not moving as fast on the tarmac, so there's more motor involved, you're not above the assistance limit as much, and you're throwing in harder technical climbing off-road. That kind of stuff's much more battery heavy. Even so, you can get a decent long ride out of this bike. I did a 2-hour 30-kilometre loop on the Mendips with about 500 metres of climbing in. That was about half and half on and off road. Plenty of time in the higher assistance modes doing the technical bits and the steep climbs, and at the end I had about 4 bars of battery left out of 10. So a 50k gravel ride is doable without worrying about how much battery you're burning through. If you're a bit more frugal with the modes, take a bit more care, you can go a lot further than that too. Obviously a lot of the motor and battery gubbins is down here, so I mean I've chucked it through some nice deep puddles and across a few streams to check the waterproofing of the motor unit, and I didn't have any problems at all. Now the motor and the battery are a single unit which you can drop out of the frame like so. So you can take it out for charging, and if you want to, you can leave the motor at home and just use the bike unassisted. You can get a sort of blanking plate to put in there instead. Now Fazua says that's a unique selling point, but I'm not actually convinced that many people would do this. I mean, if I drop 6 grand on a bike with a motor, probably I'm going to take the motor along with me for the ride, even if I don't think that I'm going to need it. But anyway, if you've got 6 grand knocking around, and you've got an e-gravel bike and you want a nice lightweight gravel bike, you can probably afford to get one of them too, yeah? Now the price is a bit of a sticking point here. There's 2 builds of the E765 gravel, of which only the cheaper of the 2 is coming into the UK. So this is the more expensive bike, has SRAM Force, Mavic All Roads, Physics saddle. The lower spec is a SRAM Rival build, and the wheels are downgraded to Shimano units, and it's a cheaper Selly San Marco saddle. Now the retail price for that bike is 5,650. Look isn't a company that majors on value exactly, but it still seems like quite a lot for what you get. Now, the build I've been riding here has a Euro price of 6,499. That is more expensive than Pinarello's new Nitro gravel, which boasts a very similar spec, and it's not like Pinarello's are particularly value oriented either. I mean, it's a growing market, so the gravel e-bikes market, so something like Cairns e-Adventure 1, that's over 2 grand cheaper for a SRAM Rival build than this bike. I mean, okay, it's an alloy frame, and not carbon, but you know, it still looks like much better value overall, and you get a dropper post thrown in too. I haven't actually ridden it yet, except around the campsite at Eurobike, which isn't really a direct comparison, but hey, I mean, it got around the campsite okay, incidentally. Anyway, that might not be an issue for you. You might like the look of this look, and you might have the pockets for it, and you know, you won't be disappointed. It's a capable, lightweight gravel bike with useful assistance from a proven motor. You know, it's a thumbs up from me overall. I mean, personally, if it was my credit card coming out of my wallet, I'd be looking at a cheaper option, but you know, each to their own. So that is the Look E765 gravel. If you've got any questions about this bike, get them in the comments below, we'll get them answered for you. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video, to like and subscribe for more like this on road.cc. Cheers.